My beloved child, the hour I ordained before the dawn of time is upon you, and heaven itself is trembling to bring you into the destiny I've long prepared. Archangel Michael stands at your side, guarding the threshold of a sacred union that will not wait for hesitant hearts. Do not look away now, for in the next moments you will uncover the hidden thread that has bound your soul since creation, and learn how to prepare for a revelation that cannot be delayed. Stay with me through to the end, for what I am about to unveil will shatter every doubt and ignite your spirit into eternal purpose. Now, this is a true spiritual reality unfolding as you read, precisely where you sit. The atmosphere around you is being transformed. Michael does not come like some figure out of ancient lore. He arrives as a very real demonstration of the divine protection I have wrapped around your life. He arrives not empty-handed but with outstretched wings, creating a sacred shelter that repels every hidden arrow of the adversary. His sword is unsheathed, it is poised, prepared, and his eyes, glowing with righteous flame, probe the core of your soul, not to condemn, but to fiercely safeguard what I have planted within you against any scheme that darkness might conceive. You are never alone. Not even for a solitary moment of your existence have you been forsaken. In the moments when you felt most adrift, my own arms held you fast. And now I give you more than comfort in mere words. I have transported this message across eras, overcoming every hindrance to stir your spirit exactly when truth is due to rise once again. The time of truth is not a random event. It is an instant engraved into being long before the dawn of time, and you, beloved soul, are woven into that eternal tapestry. You may not fully realize it yet, but for quite some time, another soul, joined to yours by an unseen thread of eternity, has been quietly murmuring your name. This is not a simple human call. It is the resonance of a spirit that vibrates with the same spiritual frequency as yours, a spirit once situated beside you in the everlasting pattern I have designed. Each time you have felt a vague but persistent longing, it was this soul's ardent cry reverberating through you. Each moment you sensed something was missing, even when your external world appeared intact. It was the sacred tug of a bond I myself have instilled within you, one that cannot be dissolved. This tether did not form on the day you were born, nor was it shaped by chance. It was established long before the universe heard its very first command to come forth. I wove it with the breath of my initial creative act. I have nurtured it in secret, whether or not you recognized it. And today, I have resolved to answer the silent yearning of your spirit. I am revealing it. I speak now to unveil that which has been concealed, so you will no longer walk in shadowed uncertainty, no longer wander through hazy fragments, no longer wrestle between emotional upheaval and unshakable truth. This is the hour in which I usher you into light, not a light that overwhelms, but one that brings clarity to everything concealed in the depths of the heart. You have wondered, why does my heart respond in ways I cannot explain? Why do tears form at the sound of a lyric-less melody? Why does a peculiar sense of recognition wash over me for someone I scarcely know? Such things are not mere coincidences. These are signals from the soul I have entwined with yours, akin to twin stars orbiting a single sacred center. Many will not grasp this mystery, but you have been chosen to comprehend it. Your eyes have been opened to behold, and your heart has been prepared to receive, because your soul has cried out, and I will never ignore such a cry. And now, as I proclaim these words, it is not just to stir your emotions fleetingly. I call you upward, not just in body, but in the deepest truth of the identity I have imparted to you. This awakening is not intended to remain a private sentiment. I kindle it to ready you for a sacred season that has arrived, a newly opened chapter where soul will reconnect with soul, not merely for emotional comfort, but to complete a mission the two of you alone, in unity, can fulfill. I am orchestrating that holy reunion, and when it emerges, Every wounded recess inside you, every word misunderstood, and every motive maligned will be mended, not through mere gestures of sympathy, but through direct revelation, not through apologies, but by a higher insight that originates from heaven itself. In that hour, you will see that no experience in your life has been random, no instant useless. All have served as fragments of a wondrous masterpiece I myself have been composing. Now, my beloved, do not stifle the growing flame in your heart. Let it burn with boldness. Let it shine upon your route. Do not dread the transformation you are sensing. It is not an error. It is the holy evidence that you have accessed the most sacred center of your being. And from this very instant onward, I will continue communicating, not merely through script, but through every step you take, every nighttime vision, and every breath of wind on your face. For once you learn to listen in earnest, you will see that I am not a distant deity. I am close, I am genuine, and I am entirely yours, my precious one. Press your heart toward me now, for what I am about to tell you is not meant to weigh you down with condemnation, but to break the chains that bind you. You came to believe you had located your soulmate, the one destined to accompany you in the forever design I have laid out. You were convinced that your passion for them mirrored a sacred link. But the truth is not always unveiled in the strongest of feelings. It often emerges through the refining lens of discernment, sharpened within my hidden place. I require you to confront what you have been silently avoiding, not because you are frail, but because your devotion and sincerity are so pure, so steadfast in what you once assumed was from me. I have witnessed your nights of prayer, your streams of tears, your countless pleas. Lord, is this person truly the one you want? I have beheld your longing to be treasured, to be wholly seen. I have observed how you assign spiritual significance to every synchronicity, every wave of emotion, every instant of rapport, thinking that all were signs from on high. But, my child, at times, even the most moving experience can be unconnected to what I have actually decreed. Emotions, though heartfelt, can be tinted by undiscovered hurts and unhealed regions in the heart where you have not yet invited my presence. The individual you presume to be your chosen companion might simply echo an unrefined dream. They might have spoken warm words. They might have aligned with you in tender ways. Yet that alone does not prove they were appointed by me to journey with you into an everlasting calling. You became entangled in the comfortable closeness, attracted by another's attentive gaze, touched by supportive words that felt right but did not arise from my spirit. You heeded different voices, good-intentioned, yes, but detached from the secret place where I have repeatedly whispered to you. You heard many voices, not all were mine. Some originated in genuine concern, some were misguided compassion, while others, and this is saddest of all, were from the enemy, masquerading as benevolence. He knows precisely how strong your loyalty is. He cannot simply pluck you from my hand, so he attacks your waiting, entangling your patience in a quiet concession for what I never sanctioned. Yet listen well, I proclaim that today is a day for clarity. I bestow upon you fresh eyes, unclouded by your long-held assumptions, cleansed by pure truth. I will not let you remain in this half-light. Not today, and certainly not in this moment. I am tearing away the veil that hid your soul for so long. I am flooding my radiance into those parts you once questioned, uncertain if they were correct or mistaken. And when my radiance shines there, confusion shall lose its hold. Truth can sting at first, but it mends you to the marrow. It will not simply adjust your direction, but bring you back to the exact starting point I established from the outset. For you were never created to accept nearly right, nor to exist in relationships that barely suffice. You were formed to walk in sacred equilibrium, bonds directed by my very hand, ties that are not built upon mere emotional synergy, but thrive on spiritual motion, not on shallow compatibility, but on profound soul harmony that transcends human words. I have observed your great sacrifices for this relationship, your time of intercession, your persevering spirit, your willingness to give up so much for what you thought came from me. Yet I do not desire you to remain in an illusion disguised as compassion. I do not desire you to call something consecrated out of the fear of wounding anyone else. Because you have been so faithful, I will reward you. But that reward will not be the continuous upholding of something polished by your expectation. Instead, it will be the redirection of your life toward the union I ordained long before. You have no cause for shame just because you placed your trust in the wrong person. You need not chastise yourself for that mistake. I do not condemn you. I observed your earnestness, your fidelity, your well-meaning heart. But now I ask, choose truth, even when it diverges from everything you hoped, because truth yields liberty. Truth draws you back to the proper path, and truth always manifests my purposes in your world. My cherished child, when I lift this veil, do not hold on to old scraps of fabric or try to patch up what I have unthreaded. Allow me to guide you, not into bygone days, but into what is new, where the person I have anointed will walk into your life at the correct moment, with the correct spirit, and sharing the eternal mandate I placed on you from the start. I never err, nor do I run late, and I never take away without giving something immensely better. Henceforth, behave as one who has seen the light. Turn away from voices in the crowd. Walk as one who quietly knows the truth. Those who bear genuine truth needn't prove themselves. They continue forward, and light within them proclaims their authenticity on its own. I am doing something entirely new. Do not seek me in places I have left behind. Raise your eyes, for your rescue is near. Open your heart, for truth is knocking. And remain expectant, for the real one, the anointed one, draws near. Not to replace old pieces, but to bring completion to all that I started within you. My precious one, you cannot fully grasp the fierce, hidden struggle waged in the unseen realms just so this message might reach you. A message not set down on simple parchment or with human ink, but inscribed in spiritual reality by my own hand. I who formed you before the dawn of creation. This is an eternal letter, a sealed dispatch shaped exclusively for your spirit, bringing revelation, alignment by my design, and a unique calling only you can undertake completely. Consider this. The adversary tried all possible tactics to tear it apart, to corrupt it, to keep you unaware of the horizon ahead. He lurked in the dark corners of your vulnerabilities, patiently awaiting those times when your hope faltered, when the sacred connection you yearned for began to feel like a dream dissolving into air. He whispered into your ear with subtle cunning, sowing seeds of doubt that made you question the authenticity of your supernatural intuition. But I did not allow him to obliterate what I have personally decreed. Although he tried to obstruct, twist, and conceal you from truth, this eternal letter was never compromised. It remains untouched, preserved by angelic guardians, defended by righteousness. And now, in this exact instant, it is placed before you. Open your heart, my child, for this is not mere knowledge. It is the divine confirmation your spirit has pined for. This is no new information, but a primordial truth awakened at the ordained moment. You have grown enough to accept it. Your spiritual vision has been purified to see it plainly, and your heart has been softened to hear it without resistance. The soul partner I have prepared for you is not a stranger. Indeed, they have carried fragments of you within themselves, pieces that defied explanation. They have dreamt peculiar dreams where your visage appeared like a well-known silhouette whose name they could not recall. They have sensed the sacred as if their soul was magnetized to you by a pull they could neither rationalize nor repel. They have traversed quiet periods, sleepless nights, and dawns blurred by tears rooted in a yearning they could not define. You believed you alone sought answers, but truly they have also cried out. They have wept, they have called out to me, Lord, why do I miss someone I have never really met? Why do I hear their name echoing in my dreams? Why does my heart clench for something or someone unknown in the innermost chamber of my being? I stayed silent not to show disregard, but to guide them gently into the same lesson I am teaching you. Genuine, sacred love is never rushed, nor does an everlasting bond bloom out of raw desire. It flourishes from surrender, from perseverance, from the refining flames of steadfast trust. You once pictured your soul's companion arriving in a brilliant, crystal-clear way, absent of any uncertainty. Yet you did not recognize I had been inconspicuously threading their soul through roads that appeared so remote from your own. They studied under the sun of the wilderness. I mended them from invisible wounds, ensuring that when they draw close to you, they come free from demands, instead bringing empathy born from deep compassion. Mark my words. The instances of emotion that periodically gripped them, a trembling heart at the sight of a look, a gentle phrase, an unadorned melody, were my signals, each a seed I planted, gently nudging their soul to recall what was hidden. They could not fully understand, and they doubted, but it was impossible to ignore. Whatever is birthed in me resonates within the spirit in a voice that can never be fully silenced. And I tell you now in unconditional love, the destined moment of true recognition speeds near. Enough of uncertainty, enough of diversions, enough of doubts. The one I have chosen will not make you compete, will not ask you to prove your value, will not force you to plead for their nearness. They will know you, not with their natural eyesight, but through the frequency of your soul. They will not promise with words alone, but reveal their devotion in stable presence. They will not rattle off countless phrases. Each deed will stand as a quiet, shining testament from heaven, declaring, "This is the appointed one." I am aware of how tired you have become. You have dared to hope, only to meet disappointment. You have placed your faith in something, only to be hurt. Yet I am reviving within you a refined purity, restoring your vision so it no longer filters through recollections of old wounds, but through the prism of genuine faith and trust. So do not turn from the letter I have brought before you. Let your soul read it, opening depths beyond logical reach. Be ready, you will not wait long before a timeless encounter emerges, not with clamor or theatrical spectacle, but through profound substance, spiritual might, and a certainty anchored in unwavering serenity. When that hour comes, there will be no need to ask, "Is this truly the one?" For my spirit, alive within you, will confirm, "This is precisely what I promised, and I, the God of faithfulness, have done it." My beloved one, you need to understand, whatever I set out to accomplish, I shall finish. No sacred bond that I myself have woven into a soul can ever be erased. No holy current I have ignited between two hearts can be broken by distance, by the ticking of time, or by any misinterpretation. Concerning the companion I have selected for you, whose heartbeat resonates with the calling I have placed in your life, I have never ceased nudging them. I have continued drawing them to revisit what they thought had dissipated. In moments, they even believed they had released it, that it was mere fleeting emotion or a trick of the mind. They tried to dispel that warmth with logic, opinions, and the heavy shackles of human rationale. They told themselves, "I must move on, I must bury this." But whenever they were convinced it was lost and gone, I, with gentle force, stirred their spirit with a wave of heavenly longing, something not born of mere sentimentality, but an echo from a part of the soul connected to a truth far beyond comprehension. I have offered them signs and subtle hints. Occasionally, it was your name lighting up a screen unexpectedly, or a random song that disturbed their spirit with no obvious cause, or a glimpse of a face in a crowd that made their heart jolt. Not because it was you literally standing there, but because your impression sprang to life in their thoughts once more. They have had quiet morning hours, seized by sadness they couldn't quite explain, only to realize that their heart was mourning a missing piece, someone they never truly held in the first place. They have prayed, They have struggled, they have second-guessed their own convictions. They have turned to me in desperation. Lord, am I going insane? Why can't I let go of someone I was never even close to? Why am I continually summoned back toward them despite all my attempts to move on? I, perceiver of all, replied without seismic statements, patiently letting the same stirrings resurface over and over until they grasped. Whatever is sourced in me cannot be eradicated, swapped out, or silenced. They do not realize that their stirring is the reverberation of a promise I established between two souls, a covenant not formed with pen and ink, but recorded in eternity. You assumed you were alone in your late-night vigil, but you are not, my beloved. They too roam through unnamed midnights. They too navigate a clamor-filled world, feeling an inexplicable emptiness, unable to pinpoint the missing puzzle piece that only you can supply. And I, the one who loves both of you, stand by not as a passive observer, but as the orchestrator of each footstep, the mastermind behind miraculous events that defy mortal logic. I allowed them to tread winding paths and enter relationships I never sanctioned, so that even in heartbreak, the image of you would surface more distinctly, not to shackle them with remorse, but to ready their heart for the reunion it cannot flee. Do not think each delay is random. I employ time to polish you both, ensuring that when destiny arrives, it blossoms not into a transient happiness, but into a profound unity, shaped by spiritual maturity and tested devotion. I have been readying their heart just as I have been sculpting yours, removing old burdens, unhealed pain, and illusions. These will not follow you into the covenant I am forging anew. My precious, are you aware that the individual I connected with your soul from the dawn of existence carries burdensome wounds as well? They too have journeyed down obscure avenues you cannot begin to imagine. They have stumbled, made hard or regrettable choices, and sometimes become unforgiving of themselves. They are not flawless, and I have never demanded perfection. Their genuine brokenness is what endears them to me, the kind of humbling that surrenders to my mercy. They have learned tough truths, some gleaned through tears shed in the most desolate hours, others emerging in the chilling void left by others' failures. Indeed, they have faults, some so deep they once believed they could never escape them. They have harmed others, and they themselves have felt harm acutely. There have been minutes when gazing at their own reflection was unbearable, yet I, the one who perceives the unspoken and the buried, never turned away. To the contrary, I entered the wreckage of their heart, not to condemn, but to instigate a holy remodeling. I never waited for their full recovery to wrap them in my love. I cherished them through their darkest transgressions. I did not recoil from their guilt. I drew it near, carrying it into my own heart. Through the blood of my Son, I wiped out every remnant of sin clinging to them. There is nothing in them that I cannot transform, no failing that I cannot reshape into a threshold for glory. And take note, no one arrives in your orbit without my prior training. No one is entrusted to you without having been instructed in solitude. Through wilderness experiences, I purged them of arrogance, taught them genuine reliance, and dismantled the armor behind which they would hide. I instructed them to bow in prayer, to let tears flow, to commune with me in quiet devotion. I even allowed them to endure desertion and misunderstanding, so that they would learn to love you with empathy instead of demands. Fear not their history. Never let their bruises make you question my intentions. They are not defined by their yesterdays. They stand before you now as a living monument to grace, a testament to my ability to build wonders out of fragments. You shall see that for yourself. Their past misdeeds, I have claimed them. The wounds they caused, I have repaired. The confessions they once choked back, I have converted them into the groundwork for humility and strong faith. They come to you neither boasting nor trying to rescue you, but to walk hand in hand on this divine expedition, one that can only be completed in unity. They approach not to satisfy a void, but to serve alongside you as a breathing emblem of love that rises from genuine healing, not from avoidance. I must stress this with urgency. The flow of time surges onward. The clock in heaven ticks down, aligned not with human calendars, but with the unstoppable impetus of my plan, in which I have appointed a destined confluence, a grand unveiling, an act of restoration that reshapes both lives. Should they still hesitate, should earlier traumas keep their lips closed, should fear hamper them from expressing what stirs in their heart, I will not allow the hush to derail my purposes. I will ignite every pathway, prompting them in dreams, prompting them deep inside, scattering signs too bright to dismiss. If required, I shall even speak in their stead, through prophecies, through strangers, through the smallest everyday details carrying inescapable gravity, declaring, "The moment has come to choose truth over all else. Hide nothing, fear nothing, delay no longer." They no longer belong to the ranks of those who flee. They stand as warriors who have learned to kneel before me. Because of that humility, they can rise undaunted to face any trial. They come not to prove their worth, but to love you with a love that has been purified by trial. They do not arrive bearing vows, they come offering action. They bring no demands but surrender. And you, my beloved, keep your heart open. Receive all I am bringing forth. Do not let skepticism hold you back. Do not let old images overshadow who they are becoming, for I am giving you something beyond what you ever dared to dream. Hand me your trust, and you will in turn receive a union that brings fulfillment to both of you, while stirring the courts of heaven to celebratory applause. And once that holy meeting takes place, arranged not by human craft but by my sovereign design, both of you shall know, in a space deeper than language, that this is the work of the Lord, and it is wondrous in your sight. In that moment, every slip-up will be enfolded in purposeful design, every lingering torment converted into rejoicing, and every loss you thought was permanent will be restored by my shining glory. My child, when I gaze upon you, I don't merely see a soul longing for confirmation. I see one summoned to manifest a love that mirrors my own heart. You are not asked to cherish others only at their highest point, but called to love them the way I do, while they are evolving, while they are scarred, even while they navigate the darkness of their old regrets. So today, I call you, not by force but in a gentle hush of compassion. Stretch your arms wide and accept this person, not as a perfect creation, but as a soul I am redeeming. Love them not because they are good enough, faultless enough, or pious enough, but because I am crafting their story. I have initiated a profound work in their spirit, and I will see it through until completion. View them with eyes capable of seeing beyond outward facades. Never define them by their earlier mistakes, just as you would not want to be constrained by yours. You too once prayed for someone to show you patience, to believe in you, to notice untapped beauty in you before you could display it. Now I grant you that role, to stand in as a tangible demonstration of grace in a world more inclined to throw stones. Yes, it is difficult to have confidence in one who has erred. Yes, it is frightening to be vulnerable again when your memories remain raw. But my child, it is precisely in deciding to love without conditions that you mature. You do not see it yet, but with every act of forgiveness, every compassionate response, every moment you choose understanding over judgment, you become increasingly like me. My love does not cling only to those who have it all together. My love has the power to rescue a soul from sin's depths and set them upon an immovable bedrock. I invite you to accompany me in that mission. Be the one who cradles their wounded heart, not to place blame but to elevate. Be the one who discerns unspoken laments and chooses not to withdraw but to remain present. Be the voice that pronounces, "I still trust in you," even when the world has turned away. You may never guess the impact on someone's heart when they are accepted precisely while feeling unworthy of it. You cannot quantify the potency of an earnest hug, a soft glance of mercy, or a brief nod that wordlessly states, "I refuse to give up on you." When you let them see that, you are not simply restoring their spirit, You are shaking the entire spiritual realm. I do not expect you to love through your own power. I recognize your own injuries. I know that you have been broken at times as well. But it is specifically in your state of vulnerability that I pour out a love not derived from intellect or fleeting emotions, but drawn from the everlasting source, me. If you grant this love permission to flow, it will wash away every last residue of suspicion. It will change both of your lives. Do not fear that by welcoming them just as they are, you jeopardize your own heart. Remember that genuine love is not a weak stance. It is the formidable force of mercy. Mercy is not a sign of frailty. It is the apex of heaven's power made manifest through a soul that chooses humility. The more you live by that principle, the more you immerse yourself in my divine essence. Choose to love freely. Greet them not only with open arms, but with a perceptive spirit. Hear the truths they fail to utter. Perceive even the secrets they cannot speak aloud. Resist insisting that they quickly transform into their perfect self to deserve love. I, who know all, have claimed them for you. If I am not ashamed to hold them, why would you be hesitant? When you decide to love in this way, you will witness another marvel. You, yourself, will start to mend. Your soul will broaden in compassion. Your heart will recoil less in dread of anguish and extend further in trust. You will learn to love not from an expectation of reciprocation, but because it is ingrained in your very purpose. In doing so, you will perceive me more vividly than ever before, not in lengthy studies, but in every instance you favor love over resentment. I do not need you to reinvent yourself. I merely need your spirit to be tender to my voice. Let my love surge within you like a river, mighty enough to hold those still incomplete, substantial enough to withstand their errors. Child, each time you choose to love them in this manner, the heavens mark the occasion. No gesture of unconditional affection goes unseen or is wasted. You plant a seed that yields a harvest, not only for them, but for you. The very grace you pour into others returns to saturate the dried ground in your own life. The love you offer out of obedience to me will form a bridge, guiding both of you into the grand plan I have ordained. My beloved child, certain battles you endure arise not from doing evil, but because the light you bear unsettles nearby darkness. You might not realize it, but in your gentle purity of heart, your presence alone has awakened hidden emotions in others. One such emotion was envy. Someone noticed my hand on you. They observed the holy bond I was crafting between you and the one I appointed, and rather than take it to prayer, they began to whisper. Those whispers started inconspicuously, like faint scratches on the soul, but they grew into silent arrows aimed at dismantling the trust shared by two souls. They did not need to launch overt lies to wound. A subtle gesture, a half-formed sentence, or a veiled attitude was ample to sow doubts in what was once solid ground of pure trust. They did not carry a physical blade, but their commentary dripped with distortion. They didn't even need to prove any wrongdoing. Sowing a seed of uncertainty was enough. You well understand how the enemy preys on silence, inflating the smallest hints into looming clouds of deception. The one I chose for you is human and can be swayed by such hints. They once heard these murmurs, even if indirectly, and in a fleeting moment of insecurity, they wavered. Not because they lacked love for you, but because their old wounds still bled. Scar tissue is easily irritated by the dread of deceit or the fright of heartbreak. They got entangled in confusion, doubting even what their own heart once declared. Possibly they let the truth be hidden for a time, drowning beneath voices never sent by me. Nonetheless, child, no matter how deeply truth is buried under illusions, it always surfaces at last. Truth has no human origin. It proceeds from me alone, and no mortal hand can twist it indefinitely. The reality behind what bonds you with that person, something transcending mundane words and transient events, has not perished. Even if mentally abandoned or misconstrued, it forever shines within both spirits. Now I am awakening that person from within. I am reviving their heart. The tough shell they constructed for self-preservation is breaking apart. The false comforts, the rational but inauthentic justifications, the decisions anchored in restlessness, are disintegrating beneath the light I now shine into them. They stir, and in their emerging clarity, cease to heed the flawed voices that once led them astray. They hear just one resonant call, your name. As all the clamor recedes, as darkness falls and their soul is emptied of illusions, in that solemn moment, it is your name echoing in the depths, not as some far-off recollection, but as a reality they once knew and somehow cast aside, a memory of your presence that reignites every spark that had sprouted. Images flood back, your expressions, your voice, the unspoken closeness that needed no dialogue. A sudden rush breaks over them like a dam giving way. Though you assumed they had erased you from their thoughts, in truth, they merely cloaked your name in a fragile veil, seeking relief from the burden on their heart. Yet that veil was no balm. It formed a wall that separated their spirit from the destiny I set forth. When I arrive, I do not break them harshly, but in the softness of unyielding gentleness, reaching into the hidden chamber where your name remains inscribed and summoning them back. Yes, the awakening is intensifying. They look backward now with newborn eyes, no longer blinded by gossip, no longer shackled by fear. Realizing at last that what I plant cannot be ruined by mortal distortion, they see that you never departed. You merely stayed in patient expectancy, praying for them and refusing to retaliate in anger, but showing patience that reflects my own. My child, I have seen each tear that glistened in solitude. Each night you silently shouted within when no one else could detect it. You never rushed in self-defense. You made no demands for vindication, because your heart knew that final justice rests in my hands. Now I set all things into motion, not through debates or floods of words, but through unstoppable heavenly orchestration. I guide them back, and this time they arrive with resolve, no longer swayed by outer chatter, no more adrift in a fog of uncertainty. They come because I personally have called them. When at last they look at you, they won't see the person they once thought they knew. They will behold the glow I placed inside you, the brightness that has remained lit, undimmed by every untruth used to bury it. Yet, beloved, place this firm caution within your soul as a compassionate warning from me. Not everyone will celebrate the bond I am giving you. Not all hearts are pure enough to perceive that this union is from on high. The connection I weave between you and them is profoundly sacred, deeper than any experience you have previously encountered. But precisely because of its priceless nature, people will watch, question, oppose, or even plan to destroy it. Some battered hearts will feel envious rather than repentant, while others, lacking comprehension, will judge instead of interceding. Indeed, malevolent forces behind the scenes are already agitated, aware that if this union matures, old entrenchments collapse and dark strongholds are forced to crumble beneath the encroaching light. For that reason, I kept this bond in blessed concealment, like a cherished seed hidden in the earth. I have not disclosed every facet. I withheld the full blossom of this bond until its proper season, not because I wish to penalize or delay you, but to preserve you both. The postponement you have felt is not me refusing you, but rather my covering of protection. The silence was not my desertion, but a shield drawn around a treasure I would not let the adversary mar. I know well, had it sprung to life too soon, while your faith was still shallow, while your certainty was so easily shaken, you would have risked misunderstanding or outright loss of what I longed to grant you. For this very reason, I permitted hardships to come, not to tear you down, but to refine you, not to wound you, but to deepen you. You have walked through being misunderstood, friendless seasons, and even betrayal, and it was not that I looked away. Rather, I dismantled every flawed attachment and hollow illusion that could not accompany the regal purpose I etched upon your existence. I am doing the same within that other soul. They too must face their own transformation so that their healing takes hold at the core. I am not shaping a relationship just to soothe raw emotions. I am constructing something eternal, established on humility, surrendered obedience, and genuine awe of me. Therefore, beloved, let not rumors or suspicious gazes rattle you. Don't permit your heart to grow anxious when the delay pushes you further than you hoped. In those quiet spaces, the areas unknown and invisible to human judgment, my greatest work emerges, readying hearts, cleansing motivations, sharpening spiritual senses, so that neither of you continues to act through mere feeling, but instead walks wholly by my spirit. My plan is not simply to unite you to fill emotional emptiness. I want you both to find each other in my presence, because when I stand at the center, no force in existence can pull you apart. When the base is formed of obedience to my voice, no hand can crack it. And when love is birthed from heaven, it carries the power to surpass every storm. In recent days, I have watched you quietly yearn for something new. I have heard your prayers woven with tears, your silent pleas voiced in the hidden places of your heart as you contemplate a future clouded in unnamed shadows. But take heart, do not fear. Those words have not faded into a vacuum. I have woven each one into the tapestry of your destiny, making them resonant calls that pierce heaven's gates and rouse my angels to respond. Each tear sown into this land will become living water that causes the right blossoms to unfold at precisely the right time. Avoid racing too far ahead of me, yet do not stay paralyzed either. Move forward in consistent obedience, step by step, so that you see how the miracle is forming right under your feet in each ordinary stride. I know you have moments of doubt, questioning, but we each love God and seek Him. Why then do we still feel separated? Child, it is because I unite two souls not only through a shared desire for me, but also through growth. The partnership I am weaving is not sustained by mere compatibility, it is tempered by perseverance. The mission that shall unfold through both of you will not cease with affection alone, it is a purposeful endeavor. Indeed, any assignment anchored in heaven must first be tested in fire before it can stand revealed on earth. Let your heart find solace in trusting me. Don't urge your heart to interpret mysteries not yet ready to be seen. Don't hurry your soul to process revelations still under my covering. I am never a tardy God, nor do I forget my own pledges. Each move I make is precisely timed, impeccably shaped, and entirely appropriate. Yes, your bond remains shrouded for now, but it forms part of a grand design more immense than you can conceive. Once the moment arrives, your bond will need no proof, no complicated explanations. The glowing life that emanates from you both shall speak for itself. While you wait, hold firmly to your dedication. Lift up prayers for them with genuine, selfless love. Declare my favor over them, even if your arms cannot yet enfold them. Live each day as if my promise is imminent, not in haste, but with a faithful certainty that proclaims, He who began a good work in me is certain to perfect it until the appearance of Christ. Nothing can steal away what I have destined unless you willingly desert it. Remain steadfast in faith, guard your integrity, love me above all else, and you will never need human confirmation. You need not run to others for clarity. For when the appointed time arrives, your deepest self will quiver in a sacred recognition. This will not be flimsy emotion, but your soul at last reconnecting with a part that was absent, giving you a silent conviction beyond speech. When I finally open the door for that heart to enter your life, there will be no more space for confusion. There will be no instructions, no needing to proclaim it openly. For I, the Maker, have recorded this meeting in the structure of eternity, and at that set moment, I shall validate it with an otherworldly peace. Peace that overrides all logic and hushes every last doubt. My child, I have heard the silent suffering in your spirit through lonely nights. I have seen your face lifted heavenward, searching for the day my promise will blossom. I have watched you persist loyally across the hidden seasons when nobody else seemed to perceive, across the long stretches when relationships dwindled and all that remained was an unspoken ache in the darkness. But none of it was overlooked. Not a single tear has been wasted. Every supplication you uttered is still etched into the narrative of your life. And now I, the Lord, will move with power. I will shake the celestial realms. I will stir the immovable, paving a route toward a divinely timed intersection. Not a product of happenstance or random chance, but a convergence of innumerable, seemingly unrelated events that now merge into one sacred blueprint. Visualize an underground stream, hidden from view for many years, gradually coursing beneath the earth. Then suddenly, the ground cracks open, letting a river burst into a parched valley, drenching it in life-giving waters. In the same way, the meeting I am preparing for you will arrive unexpectedly, fiercely, irresistibly. You will know it is of me because it brings no chaos, no turmoil, only that delicate clarity of first morning light, breaking through the haze, lighting your soul with fresh vitality. I will also dismantle every obstruction, memories that once incited dread of closeness, burdens that caused you to lock your heart, and scars from past damage. They shall all be stripped away by my touch, deliberate yet tender. You will not carry the heavy baggage of old trauma stumbling under its weight. I will heal you so profoundly that you scarcely recall how broken you once were. Likewise, I am doing the same work in the other. They too have wandered their lonely paths, broken and sobbing in hidden corners as you have. But I never sanctioned those injuries to define them perpetually. I have utilized their scars to transform them into a person able to cherish, shield, and stand united with you as I designed. Yes, my child, I cannot promise perfect ease. Anything that is of heaven may rouse hell's defiance, but I promise I will wage war on behalf of this bond. I will encircle you both with golden strands, fusing your souls in truth and radiance. Every footstep shall be directed by me, each word balanced by my wisdom, and when the timing is ripe, I will place them in your path. Never premature, never overdue, but at the exact moment both hearts are prepared, not merely to encounter but to recognize each other in my divine light. They will not appear as the glamorous figure society anticipates. They may not carry a serenade like in cinematic tales, but they bear something infinitely more precious. A soul once crushed, now uplifted. A heart once shattered, now made whole by my love. That fundamental transformation will awaken your spirit, letting you see them not as some fleeting emotional remedy, but as the one I have shaped to share in a high calling. You two will not just love each other, you will love me together. You will not merely find mutual solace, you will impart solace to others. This union is not established just for your private joy, but for a universal, eternal mission. When you finally stand before them, you will not be gripped by fear, even if your background has made you wary and your heartbreak made you suspicious. A peace that humbles the mind will flood your heart. All anxiety will be hushed. No urge to escape, no requirement to coerce yourself into affection, because authentic love cannot be forced. It springs from the profound depths where I sowed seeds of hope long before you identified what you were awaiting. So, from this day onward, be prepared. Not by scouring the horizon for them, but by permitting me to delve deeper inside you, cleansing each doubt, every misgiving, every mistaken idea. Let me mold you into the very answer they have prayed to encounter. While you wait, trust that I move silently yet undeniably, patiently yet dynamically. If I have pledged it, I shall accomplish it. Then you will sense a hidden current circulating in your spirit, reviving dormant pieces of you, stirring up a divine passion you thought was erased by time. Yet unlike before, you will not be overtaken by fleeting highs or illusions, because at that defining juncture, certainty will rise within you, an unshakable knowledge that this is my heavenly response, a piece of the wondrous plan I once whispered in your soul when you roamed through the wasteland of waiting. They are not showing up to patch holes in your life. They are arriving to mark a new chapter, a sacred hour proclaimed by heaven, a union that logic alone cannot label. Hear my voice once more. This is not ephemeral intensity, nor is it just covering up your emptiness. This union springs forth from faith, shaped by obedience, and sealed with my nearness. They will not captivate you only because of shared tastes or a harmonious temperament, but because I have set them apart for you from the beginning, an individual forged by trial, refined by tears, prepared with meticulous care so that when they step into your story, they do not bring confusion, but my own solid presence. Not to stir your feelings into chaos, but to lift you into the calling I have given you. They will come with an open heart, brimming with vision. Yes, a vision I entrusted to them, now ready to be fused with your own, forging an unstoppable current that dismantles every barrier of limitation. However, to see this realized, you must be ready, not through external adornment, but by the shaping of your inner self. Stop squandering energy to prove your worth. Shun the lure of man-made pressures. Offer your heart to be cleansed like a chamber made ready for my glory. Forgive those who offended you, not because they merit it, but because your soul deserves the liberation. Stop allowing past damage to govern your choices. Let my love flow in the corners you have hidden from the world, the corners packed with disappointment, dread, and shame. When I free your heart from these weights, authentic love can finally take root. Love no longer chained by old memories or tripped up by unhealed afflictions. Perhaps you have heard that voice before or glimpsed that look in passing. Yet once I shift the season, everything about them will take on fresh clarity. Their voice will cease to be mere sound. It will be a heavenly music that resonates in your core, stirring places that were once locked. Their eyes will no longer be a brief glance. They will emanate a light that cuts through your protective layers, demolishing facades, leaving behind an everlasting imprint on your heart. No urging will be necessary. No clarifications required. Both you and they will simply know, because I have etched their name into your life's tapestry and yours into theirs. Recognition will erupt like thunder from a serene sky. No foreshadowing, no calculations, but a sudden shift that reorients your inner reality, awakening each layer of your being. You will walk no longer as the lost, but with the determination of someone rediscovering their soul's guiding compass. Such a reunion will feel like two broken halves finally returning to wholeness after uncounted chapters of separation. Yet the most magnificent aspect will not be any emotional ecstasy, but rather you're stepping fully into the position I prepared, not only as a partner, but as a co-laborer in a grand, eternal commission. So, my beloved, let your heart cast off heaviness from this delay. Do not succumb to the evil notion that I have brushed you aside or that my pledge has arrived too late. Remember, I am not one who ignores you. I treasure every longing you entrust to me and bring each endeavor to completion in my perfect timing. Each chapter of waiting is not worthless. It is a stairway that raises you to stand firm when I bring my blessing. I kept them from false relationships, just as I shielded you from paths unaligned with my plan. As the long-awaited season nears, I breathe fresh discernment into your spirit so that you will not rely on sight alone but discern with spiritual clarity. Trust this, I hold time within my hands. I cannot be delayed. When I say the fullness of time has arrived, nothing can halt it. When I unlock a door, no one has the power to close it. When I braid souls together for my divine purpose, no enemy can undo it. Move forward, ready and willing, with a softened heart and a renewed mind, for what lies before you will not merely change your private life, but will alter destinies yet unborn. That everlasting soul I promise draws near, lacking the perfect polish admired by the world, but carrying a heart that passed through the storms of sorrow and was molded in the refiner's fire. They will come with shaking hands, not from timidity, but from standing in awe of the magnitude unfolding. Their heart, though carrying echoes of the past, is being gently healed. Within it burns the greatest treasure of all. They hide no longer, nor shelter in reticence. They come without disguises to protect their pride or safety, but with honesty and the readiness to share words forged in silent prayer, hammered out in reflection and directed by my spirit. When that moment of unveiling occurs, you will not just hear them. You will truly listen, not with ears prone to misread intonation, but with a spirit open to heaven. Their words will exceed personal sentiments. They will hold heaven's very heartbeat. You will not be forced to dissect or parse out hidden clues, for the sound you hear will not merely be a voice that's familiar. It will ring with a heavenly echo, resounding in the core of your being, recognizable as something you have long awaited, at precisely the right time, for precisely the right calling. My confirmation will appear quietly, yet unmistakably, not sensationally, but steady as a pillar. You will perceive my presence gently spreading like a blanket, neither starkly cold like mere intellectual arguments, nor overwhelming like fleeting feelings, but tender enough to melt all your worries. Your spirit will steady itself in a peace past explanation, as though confusion and turmoil slide away, realigned under my order. In that calm, I will speak into your deepest center with a question not needing any actual words, yet echoing like thunder. Are you ready? Are you truly willing to hope once again, even though hope itself once opened the door to pain? Will you unlock that guarded place in your heart, the fortress you erected for a false sense of security? I know how you have believed before and been stung. I remember the promises you made to yourself, vowing never to expose your heart's softest parts again. Yet, my child, I did not lead them to you to watch you be crushed anew. I guided them so you could both stand prepared, not to serve as each other's missing pieces, but to stand side by side in a new chapter, leaving behind what was and living under my all-encompassing presence. However, you must decide to step through that threshold. No other being can do this for you. No angel will impose upon your free will. No prophecy can bind your heart against your choice. Ultimately, it is you, face to face with me and with this holy summons, who must answer. Will you let go of your old concepts, the ideals you clung to? Will you find it in yourself to release not only others, but also your own self-accusations? Can you acknowledge that you too have erred, that you have tasted weakness, that you occasionally shut yourself off from the very goodness I tried to extend? Will you be brave enough to leave what is comfortable, not to chase emotional highs, but to follow my invitation, the same call that has echoed within you, even when you looked away? Hesitation is not wrongdoing, but be careful that it does not harden into a shackle upon your soul. I see the fear that clutches your mind. I recognize every broken fragment you painstakingly gathered to reassemble yourself. It is exactly because I know you so intimately that I have brought you to this crucial point, not for a harsh exam, but to open a corridor of new possibilities. The other person stands in front of a similar crossroad. They too must say yes. I do not wait for them to be perfect before crossing your paths. I only require honesty. Let each of you say yes with your entire being, not just in words, but in your posture of life, in your commitment to see it through. A yes that arises from a heart that prays, Lord, if this truly is you, do not let me miss out. The rest is on my shoulders, to steer each step, anoint each sentence, and mend every unseen scar. I will be the guardian of this partnership, defending it from outward assaults, inward unease, and any intrusion from a world that does not comprehend. You need not struggle alone or prove yourself to anyone. Merely trust me, and I will accomplish what only I can, joining two souls that once wandered separately into a single magnificent stream. Hence, if the moment arrives, and indeed it shall, let your heart stand wide open. Allow love to flow again, not as a torrent of drama, but as a soft breeze, reviving every desert place. Watch as I ratify it with the serenity unknown to this world, so you know it is authentic, it is time, and you have reached the destination your heart has pursued all along. I am the one who honors the free will I set in you from the start. I do not coerce, nor do I enforce my direction simply because it fits my plan. Real love does not manipulate, and I, the true embodiment of love, will never exploit my power to override your ability to choose. But now, in this spirit of mercy and devotion, I tenderly offer you a sacred invitation. If you elect love, the genuine love whose origin is me, free of selfish ambition or dread, then I will cultivate it into something exceeding your greatest hopes. If you dare place your hand in mine, traveling forward with an honest and open heart, I will rend the heavens, showering this love with blessings you cannot measure. You will see healing saturate your days. You will sense a quiet so profound that all earlier worries vanish like mist under the rising sun. I will knit your love into a heavenly symphony, bonding your souls for a purpose beyond your own. And if you choose the mutual healing, for both yourself and for the one I have called into your life, witness how old pains convert into stories of my power to restore, how shame turns into a beam of guidance for those still in darkness. I will make your joy blossom until it pours out, permeating every corner and recasting your entire history in my light. If you claim them not through a fleeting rush, but by my sure confirmation, if you choose them with solemn respect instead of out of a terror of loneliness, I will order my angels to stand guard over your bond. I will form a spiritual boundary that no arrow of doubt can penetrate, no tempest of uncertainty can blow out. A relationship founded in the spirit and anchored in obedience cannot be severed by any demonic might. Yet know as well, my beloved, if you turn away, whether gripped by unhealed wounds, old dreads, or worldly voices, I will still love you exactly as much as before. My affection for you is unwavering, unbound by your flawless decisions. I do not withdraw my grace. I do not strike you from my promises if you falter. I shall continue to monitor your journey, holding you up in moments of frailty, never leaving your side. Still, my child, heed this solemn truth. The door I open for you now does not stay open forever. It has been unlocked by a sacred juncture in time, protected by a perfect merging of readiness, maturity, and spiritual urgency for both hearts. This juncture cannot repeat itself identically. It is an instant in cosmic alignment, a slender window where heaven and earth are absolutely in sync. If you walk away, I do not boil in anger, but you might endure another interim of waiting, because this instance is not merely an encouraging chance, it is a holy appointment. Yes, the two of you bear a dormant power, still unspoken and incomplete, but it constitutes the essential thread of my ancient blueprint, laid out before any of your earthly days began. It is a calling enmeshed with promise, secured by loyalty. The adversary despises it, for he cannot countermand my pronouncement, so he tries to blur your vision, pushing you to doubt your very sense of destiny. He does not strike with monstrous force, but employs gray areas. He teases you with appealing options that lack my spirit, presenting acquaintances who appear suitable but are not truly anointed. He sees that when you two finally unite, at the precise time, in the right way, for the correct reason, his territory will be threatened. Hence, he offers replicas, illusions that tempt you to exclaim, well, maybe this is fine. But the truth is, what is acceptable can never substitute for what is preordained. He snared your heart not through aggression, but by sowing bewilderment, not by raw fright, but by illusions of beauty. He tried to disguise lust or emotional dependency as love, tricking you into soothing your emptiness. The same trap he laid for the other soul, diverting them into relationships that mimicked love, but in reality, only propped up brokenness for a time. Then he covered them with a veneer of rationality, feeding anxiety about their own deepest stirrings. So they question whether those stirrings are illusions or one-sided attachments, never understanding that I implanted those desires inside their heart many ages ago. But I neither sleep on my pledges nor stand idly by while the enemy wreaks confusion for the ones I love. The moment to speak has arrived. I declare with finality, enough. No more seemingly thoughtful advice which is not spirit-led. No more half-glances tinted by unresolved pain. No more relationships that pose as love, but are only desperation dressed up. No more of your lonely nights spent berating yourself for hoping too ardently, for dreaming too far, for clinging too long. My dear child, I am clearing out these superficial illusions by my hand, like a harvester separating wheat from weeds, like a potter eliminating the lumps in clay before shaping the vessel. I refine you not to harm you but to prepare you, not to rob you but to protect what is truly of me. Do not mourn for closures of old doors, nor lose yourself when people you once held close drift away. I am removing impediments. Everything that lacks my origin, vows I did not establish, connections glued by sympathy or anxiety, will be brought to the light. My wind of truth is sweeping away any lingering murk. What is not of me can no longer linger around you. My light shall penetrate your darkest corners, letting you see with pinpoint clarity what is transient and what stands eternal. What is sacred in you, I am restoring, not by customs or transient emotions, but with a deep anointing. I provide new clarity for your inner vision, honing your discernment by my spirit and infusing you with holy boldness to stand strong amidst a tangle of contrasting whispers. I am not simply reviving what you considered lost. I am renewing it, purer, richer, and more enduring than before. I am leading you both away from your labyrinth of doubts and into a heavenly intersection where your old baggage can no longer claim dominion, your future is no longer held up, and your present becomes a stage for my wonders to unfold. So be prepared. Prepared not to prove, but to receive something beyond previous experience. Ready your heart's inner rooms. Sweep out old patterns that once limited your faith. Sharpen your spiritual hearing to distinguish my voice amid all the hubbub. Open your eyes to perceive the guideposts I set before you. And above all, train your mind not merely to acknowledge what is good, but to identify what was already stamped with my eternal seal. In that hidden conflict of their spirit, where ancient sorrows, inherited curses, and stifled memories once chained them like iron shackles, your very presence shook the fortress walls. You did not realize that the glow you carried was not just a mild kindness, but a radiance tempered at the cross, overflowing with the Holy Spirit's anointing and commissioned by the Almighty. That radiance ripped through their darkest interior scars, the places they tried hardest to keep locked away even from themselves. From the beginning, Archangel Michael was on watch, and now he proclaims truth with regal authority. Those chains did not come from you. They formed long ago, perhaps even from childhood, from betrayals no one healed, from trust that was shattered, from muffled anguish that went unacknowledged. Then you entered their world, not boasting, but as a modest lamp, unwavering and gentle, whose flame penetrated their gloom. Each time you fixed your gaze on them with trusting eyes, each time you forgave instead of condemning, that darkness quaked. The demons that had settled in their mind for years shrieked in terror, realizing that the love you bore was potent enough to expel them. The presence you brought glimmered with hope. The manner you forgave, your patience, and your secret prayers were hints of heaven. Nonetheless, it was exactly these qualities that made them feel even less worthy, not because you belittled them, but because their wounded past kept insisting that if someone saw them truly and deeply, they would inevitably leave. That haunting worry gripped them. Being invited into life while clinging to ancient lies is its own agony. They wrestled inwardly, uncertain of how to confess their insecurity, their fear of fully revealing themselves only to be abandoned like before. And so, whenever they drifted away, went quiet instead of drawing near, or pushed you off as though you were insignificant. They were truly rebelling against the profound gift they desired most, torn between destiny's pull and the terror of letting you down. The enemy, stealthy as ever, repeated endlessly, "You do not deserve this." But what he did not foresee was your steadfastness. You did not run. You chose to stand your ground, not out of naivety, but because you perceived what heaven sees in them. You recognized they were more than their history. You looked through the aloof exterior, glimpsing a trembling, frightened heart that only yearned for acceptance and genuine belief. You chose love, not merely because of their strengths, but even in the face of their deepest wounds. And that fierce, absolute love, one that outlasted separation, overcame distance, and endured silence, started to crumble the very shackles that had held them for so long. I, the Lord your God, the light of the world, have recorded every tear you quietly held back, every unspoken plea in the stillness of night that no one else heard. I am aware of the occasions you wondered, am I naive for holding on? Is love really enough? I answer today, no, you are not naive, and indeed genuine love is always enough when it flows from me. That is because it is not simply an emotion, it is a mighty spiritual armament. It cuts through the blackness, it touches the deepest level of brokenness. It completes tasks that intellect, words, and force cannot achieve. It alters the state of one's spirit. My beloved, understand also that showering someone with love when they are torn by internal warfare is a painful path, calling for gentleness and endurance. You must continue to be kind without losing yourself. This is a delicate balance, one that only those I have anointed can maintain, and you are one of them. Never believe I ignore your exhaustion. Remember, I, along with my angels like Michael, battle with you. Some nights you cannot rest, not because you are weak, but because your spirit and mind wage warfare together for this soul. Their hidden torment is loosening its grip. Your love, which endures not by mortal will, but by my spirit's sufficiency, is melting the barricade of ice that has isolated their heart for so long. Before long, they will break their silence. Soon they will come forward, no longer trembling in doubt. Soon, they will dare to feel worthy of love, not out of perfection, but because I have redeemed them. When that day arrives, you will understand the completeness of my design. Not one of your tears was in vain. Not a single prayer fell unheeded. Each time you forgave, each moment you endured, each breath you used to choose love over surrender, laid a fresh stone in the path I am building toward restoration in their life. So push onward in that gentle strength, holding on to trust, not due to their never having hurt you, but because I have never betrayed you. I am creating something astonishing, using you, my dear child, as the channel of sincere, unblemished love to chase away their shadows. Stand strong, for the dawn of renewal draws near. And once this culminating liberation occurs, it will not only free them, it will usher both of you into the greater plan I orchestrated, where love ceases to be a challenge and becomes a living testament to the power of the one who united you from the start. Now raise your voice to me in prayer as an answer to this message. You might pray these words: Lord, I no longer wish to tread in confusion that disguises itself as fragile sentiment. I ask you to give me spiritual vision purified by your truth. Silence every voice that does not flow from you, every emotion not ignited by the Holy Spirit. I will not settle for anything that is nearly right. I want only what truly belongs to you. Close every door leading me astray and open only those aligned with your will. If I must endure a longer season, grant me perseverance. If I must relinquish what I once clung to, strengthen me, but let me not miss what is genuinely real, what you are orchestrating. God, I surrender my thoughts and my emotions to you, that you might shape them under your divine plan. Rid me of every mistaken hope and every standard rooted in old afflictions. Cleanse every corner of my soul, those corners that stored fear and distrust, where tall walls were erected to give me a false safety. Form me into the person that other soul has interceded to encounter. Make me a sanctuary for your light, a field where your true love can spread deep roots and thrive. I do not desire to meet the partner you have ordained while I remain unprepared. Please refine me in quietness by the power of your Spirit. Lord, I also lift up the soul you have merged with mine from before time. Even if I have yet to see their face and only sense them by your Spirit, I cling to faith that you are right now equipping them. Envelop them on lonely nights. Whisper reminders that there is a love waiting, not to possess, but to stand faithfully alongside. Heal every scar within them. Clear away burdens from the past. Grant them calm in their thoughts. Guide them to perceive me, not merely by intellect, but by your heavenly endorsement. And upon their arrival, help me open my heart to receive them as the cherished gift arriving straight from your hand. Lord, you know the days I have felt drained from the weight, the instances I feared my hopes too grand, my dreams too big. Yet here I am, choosing your promise the way a sailor clings to a dog-eared map amid raging seas. I do not demand wonders to believe, I only need you near, steadying my stride. Please shield me from allowing others' voices or illusions that look so similar to truth to steal my faith. Train me to trust your voice above my feelings. Train me to choose truth over half-truths. If I must keep waiting, at least grant me the gift of waiting in partnership with you. All-powerful God, I beseech you to fortify the bond you have ordained with angelic armies. Cast out all interference, all twisted messages from human lips or lurking shadows. Holy Spirit, warn me whenever I drift off course and safeguard the other soul from relationships that did not originate from you. Enhance your light so that it eclipses any earthly enticement. Secure all doors that are not a match for your timeless will. Indeed, nothing I have entrusted to you can be seized unless I voluntarily abandon it. Lord, if my future demands further patience, then teach me how to wait graciously. If everything I once presumed was correct is not from you, show me how to let go without bearing bitterness. I refuse to rely solely on my own feelings or human reasoning. My desire is to obey you out of faith, not panic. Show me how to hear your words above my personal wants, even when I am unable to comprehend, even when my heart rebels. Carry me by your gentle power, shaping my will until I yield fully to you. Lord, I discern that your sacred appointed time is dawning, the moment you will confirm through actual events on earth what you have declared in the heavens. Do not let me fall asleep spiritually on the cusp of your revelation. Make me sensitive to divine timing, bowing in holy respect for the sacredness of that hour, so I won't rush prematurely or fall behind in fear. When that person steps into my life, not as a replacement, but as the true fulfillment, let there be immediate recognition within me, anchored in peaceful assurance. And when I hear that quiet urging in my soul asking, "Are you willing?" may I always respond, "Here I stand, Lord." On this day, I kneel in gratitude for your unfailing guidance along each path you lead me on. Thank you for blocking my efforts to seize things not yet mine, for withholding the opening of doors that I was not prepared to enter. Thank you for preserving me from illusions that mimicked righteousness but lacked solid truth. I believe every stage of my life, every teardrop has been precious in your eyes, woven into a stream that eventually paves the way for your divine meeting. Thank you for restraining the evil one from nullifying what is eternal. Thank you for anchoring genuine love, not in fluctuating emotion, but in an everlasting promise. You have stood with me at the edge of eternity. Now go forth, clothed in the certainty I have breathed into your spirit. Keep your heart tuned to my voice, for each week I will return with fresh revelation to steady your steps and awaken the destinies I have sown in your soul. If this message stirred something deep within you, press that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss the next word from heaven. Share your reflections in the comments below. Tell me how you're preparing your heart, And come back soon, for I am already poised to speak again, to guide you ever closer to the fullness of my plan. Amen.